Good evening, guys. Let's wait for 4 more minutes. Well, so make sure everybody have joined the class. Please, while we wait for others, those already in class, please mute your mic. So once it's 8:10, we start the class immediately. Welcome, everybody. Hope everyone can hear me. If you can hear me, type I can hear you in the chat, please. Let's start the class immediately. Can you guys hear me? Good. At the end of our last class, I told you guys that today we are going to handle arithmetic um, operations in Python. That is Arithmetic operation in Python is just like how to make use of the operators we have in calculator. Sorry, in Python. That is telling Python to perform a mathematics using some operators like addition, subtraction, and the rest. And today we are going to be discussing some of those operators. For example, now on my screen, I defined xy variable. I defined xy variable on my screen. I said let x be equals to 5 and y equals to 4. When I run this code, what Python is simply going to do is to make use of the operator. In our case here, the operator is this addition we added here in this print statement. When we run this code, it will just sum up these two numbers, these two integers here. And then also in Python, arithmetic operations are mostly done with integers and floats. So we are telling Python to add these two floats, x and y in this case. So um, when we run this code, it will just sum up these two variables for us. Let's run this code, for example. I believe everyone knows how to open up a terminal in this class now. I'm coming. Let me share my screen. My entire screen, I guess. So when I run, let me first change directly into my folder, which is cd class underscore source. Sorry, let me check the name of this folder. Okay, it's on my desktop folder, so I have to change into the desktop folder first. cd, then I run cd class underscore source. So when we run Python, arith dot py, arith being, like we discussed in our last class, being the name of the file. I named the file arith dot py. It will sum up those two variables we had and then print out the result for us. So let me list out all the variables we have in Python and explain how we can make use of those variables. So sorry, I'm coming. So let me list out all the operators we have in Python. That is, operators are just, you must have discussed it in school, at least basic mathematics, all this addition, comma, subtraction. In Python, multiplication, to multiply, you make use of asterisk. That is asterisk. Now that will be used for multiplication. And for division, you use this forward slash. This forward slash represent division. This particular division mostly applies to float division. That is, if you want to divide, for example, okay, I'll still explain. Let me explain it as we go. So this particular division now, you will just say enter. What are we going to use now? Let's just say print. Let's just print out in brackets 10 divide sorry 10 divided by 3. When we run this particular equation, this particular calculation now, it's going to Python is going to display for us 10 divided by 3 is simply 3 remainder 1. But Python will display the float figure. It will display the result will be this particular print statement. The result is going to be 3.33. So why I'm explaining this particular division is there is another type of division in Python called flood division. These flood divisions, what it will go ahead and do for you is it will just when you run flood division in Python, it will just remove these remainders, that is, remove the decimal place and just print 3 for you. And how do you do flood division in Python? You say print, this is just simple flood division in Python. Print, let's still use 10, but this time around, instead of saying 10 divided by 3, we go ahead and make use of 2/10 slash 3. This equation, the result will be, the result is going to be 3, 3. And then still on division, we have modulus. Modulus now, what we are trying to do with modulus is telling Python after the division, forget the figure after division. If there is a remainder, tell me the remainder. For example, this is how to do modulus. Print, you use percent sign for modulus. When you print this kind, when you run this kind of code, the answer is going to generate for you is it will tell you the remainder of this particular division, which is 1. 10 divided by 3 will give you 3, remainder 1. Is that remainder that modulus is going to display for you. And then if you are trying to do an equation that says something like 2 raised to the power of 5, to do that in Python, use explanation. That is this explanation, but then in Python, it's going to be, okay, let's just use simple explanation. 2. This 2 asterisk 3 is just simply 2 raised to the power of 3. And as usual, as we all know, we have our normal this thing, addition and subtraction. Let's say 2 plus 5. Let's type out all these print statements and then go ahead and run the code. Which other one? Print. Okay, subtraction. Print 5 minus 2. So from my explanation, these are the arithmetic operators we have in Python, which are the addition, subtraction, division, floor division, modulus, and exponential. I hope everyone is following so far.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you. So let's go ahead and run this code. Let me share my terminal. So when we run this code, it will go ahead. This is the result of our addition. This is the result of our subtraction. This is the result of our normal division, which works with float most of the times. It's printing out 3.33335. It printed out the full decimal place result for us. So then this is the result of our floor division. Floor division just removes this decimal place because the same 10 divided by 3 that gave us 3.333. Using floor division, it removed all these 3 points, all these extra decimals, and just printed out the whole number, which is 3. And then use in modulus, the same um, 10 modulus 3, in this case, runs the division. Then if there is a remainder, it prints out that remainder for us. In our case, 10 modulus 3, after the division, we have 1 remaining. You just print out that 1 for us. So then we have, this is the result of our exponential, which is 2 raised to the, we say 2 raised to the power of 3. 2 times 2 times 2. Those are simple arithmetic operators in Python. So using this stuff now, we are going to build a simple command line interface calculator. No display, just a calculator that will request for input. When you give the input, it runs a simple arithmetic operation, mathematical operation with it. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So does anybody need explanation for any of these operators here? Is if everybody understood the operators explanation. King Shooter, you said you can't see anything on the terminal or on the IDE. Please, if you understood the operators, please comment. Let me know those that are following what I'm doing. Okay. Let's explain again for King Shooter. Maybe you joined the class late, but we are trying to explain arithmetic operations in Python and operators. Why we explain arithmetic operation is when we are using we define arithmetic operations as when we are using operators in Python, operators like addition, subtraction, and division to run a simple mathematics in Python. And then I listed out some of the basic operators we have in Python, which is the addition, which is this first print statement, 2 plus 5. Just all these things here are the additions, or are the operators we have in Python: addition, subtraction, division, floor division, modulus, and exponential. This division works with float. When you run this first division, if there is a remainder, it can show you the remainder in decimal places. That is float 3.333 and above. And then this second floor division makes use of integers most of the time, because when you say 10 floor division 3, which is 10 forward slash 3, it prints out the whole number and leaves out the decimal place. It just print out the whole number of that calculation and leaves out the decimal places. And then modulus print out the remainder and leaves the 3. Like 10 divided by 3 is 3, remainder 1. This modulus will print out that remainder for you. That is what this modulus does. And then explanation is just simply 2 raised to the power of 3. King Shooter, are you still confused? Praise. Praise, are you still confused? Good. So let's go ahead and build a simple command line calculator with Python. Let me remove everything here. So first, let's name our calculator using print. Print. For my calculator, I'm going to name it simple class calculator. So this is where we name the calculator. We are just using simple print statement to name our calculator. Then let's write the input. That is, you have to, for every calculation, for every calculator, user have to impute something. That is the number they are working with. So let's, after arithmetic operations, the next topic we'll be handling is input. But before then, we are going to make use of input. Let's say num1, that is the first number. Let's define our variable. Num1, in my case, let me use float. So we will not be having any error in our code. So let me say float impute enter first number. That is, you are telling the user to enter the first number they want to work with. What we will do is we ask users for 2 numbers. Those 2 numbers that are going to provide, we will just do something with it, maybe addition, subtraction, but we'll get to that. Then number 2, that is the second variable, num2, we are telling user to another float, impute enter a second number. Why we are using float is, if we make use of integers, like if the number is a float, the code is going to fail, like we will get an error. But if we are making use of floats, whether the result is a whole number or a float figure, it's going to handle it properly and graciously. So that's why we are making use of floats instead of integer. Then there is another type of print we've not talked about in this class so far. So we are going to make use of that particular print. That is when you want to print in multiple lines, the kind of how you will not use. In our former class, we discussed about formatted string, but this time we are going formatted string and just normal, formatted print and normal print. So this time we are going to use another type of print, which is the 3 quotation print. Now, waiting I call them. That's what I That's what I usually call it. So instead of just opening a quotation and closing it in this instance, what we are going to do is we we use three quotation, that is one, two, three. You open three quotation and close them. So this time around, everything we print inside anything we type inside this particular equation will be like, okay, let me say, we say that is after user makes this input, after we demand this input from the user, the next thing we are going to print for them is for them to choose an operator. Let's say choose an operator. Choose an operator. First, let's say one dot addition in brackets, addition, close the bracket. Then operator 2, operator 2, we are going to make use of subtraction in brackets, subtraction for operator 2. Operator 3 is multiplication. And like I told you guys earlier, in multiplication, we use asterisk in Python. The symbol of multiplication in Python is asterisk. We close. And then for operator 4, we use I added extra. For operator 4, we use division, which is forward slash. That is the symbol. And then operator 5 is modulo, which the symbol is percentage. Sorry, let this be operator 6. Let this be operator 6. Operator 5 is going to be floor division. That is floor division. So operator 6 will be modulo. And then operator 7 will be explanation. So I don't think this spelling is right. I think it should be exponentiation, I think. Let's write. I think this is still wrong. Let's just use exponent. So what we are trying to do here in this instance, we print, first of all, we print the name of our calculator, which in my case is simple class calculator. And then after printing this name of calculator, what do we tell Python to do next? We say, okay, go ahead and ask this user to impute the first number, number 1, which we name this variable num1. But instead of just going ahead to define the variable here, we are telling the user to give us a variable in this case. So if they give us that variable, convert it to a float. So we are going to be working with float in this instance. Ruth, you have a question? Ruth, do you have a question? Just open your phone and start typing what you can see on my screen. you are making use of a mobile phone, right? Open Replit on your phone and start typing in what I'm currently typing. Everything you see on my screen, type it on your Replit file, class file, the file you are working on. You can go ahead and create a new file like me, but anything you see me do, go ahead and do the same thing on your Replit. So let me continue. So after naming our calculator, the next thing we defined a variable which is num1. And inside this variable, that is in our last class, I told you guys variable is like a box that stores information for us. But instead of going ahead and defining a variable here, like giving just dropping the content of the variable, what do? We are asking the user to give us the content of this particular variable, which is a number. If they give us that number, we convert it to a float and store it in this variable, that is in this box. When we store it, we proceed. That is when user gives us the first number, we click and clicks enter. We proceed to the next variable, which is number 2, the second variable. This time we are asking user again, enter a second number. Enter a second number. Then they will enter the second number, like the second number they want to use for this particular equation, or the content which will be the content of this second variable. Then when they enter these numbers and clicks enter, we will go ahead and print out these particular options for them. The option says choose an operator. What they will now see next is choose an operator, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, floor division, modulo, exponent. But if we go ahead and run this code like this, create a new file in the older folder and work with that. If you've forgotten that also, you have to wait. When I'm done with this explanation, I will try and open my mobile phone again. And so if we go ahead and run this code like this, this is just a regular print. So it will just print out this print statement for us and keep quiet. But then that's not where we want the code to end. We want, after showing them these particular options, the next thing we ask them for another information. That is, this time around, we will name a variable called choice. This choice now, we tell a user to enter your choice. Let's give them enter a choice between, in brackets, 1 to 7. That is to say, we are telling the user to pick a choice between 1 to 7. And in this choice, we are not telling the user to start typing addition or subtraction or any of these operators here. All we are asking for them is to just impute the number. If they put 1, we know we are working with 1. If they put 2, we know we are working with 2. That's what we are asking them here. Any of these operators, 1 to 7. Then the code does not just end here. We still go ahead and proceed. And what do we do next in this case? We now use we still have another class. We still get this. What I'm trying to do here, this choice logic. Now I'm going to make use of if-else statement, which is another topic on its own. I think if-else statement should be up next week. I think I forgot, but we still have a class specially on that. But we are going to be making use of it here. Let's say if choice, in this case, if choice here is, let's say if choice is 1, that is, if the choice our user entered is 1, In this case, 1 is the addition. What do? We now give computer an instruction, which is a print statement, which will now tell computer if the user chooses 1, what we are going to do is print num1 plus num2. If user chooses 1, that is addition, then go ahead and add and print the result of these two variables, the result of adding these two variables. If the user puts 5 here and if the user puts 6 here and put 4 here, and then in this choice input they select 1, the result of this, the output of this print statement is going to be 10. Then what about the situation where the user chooses another operator, for example subtraction? How do we handle that? We go ahead and say else if, that is else if choice is equals to 2. Normally, if something is not this, it should be this. If it's not this, it's that. Then we are saying if choice is 1, do addition. Else, if choice is 2, which in our case 2 here is subtraction, go ahead and print the result of subtracting these two numbers. The numbers here, go ahead and print the result of subtracting them. So we still go ahead because we have 1 to 7. We still go ahead and say else if choice equals to 3. That is, if choice is equals to 3, which is multiplication here, then go ahead and print the result of number 1 multiplied by variable number 2. This is what we are going to do throughout. We are going to use elif from number 2 to 6. So let's say elif if user chooses 4, print the result of dividing the two the numbers in variable, that is the float in variable. Go ahead and divide those two numbers. So we are not still done. Else if choice is 5, enter. If choice is 5, which is in our case is floor division, go ahead and print the floor value of that is the whole number of that particular equation. But do we end here? No, we still have 2 to work with. If user chooses number 6, which is modulo, to print the remainder, go ahead and print the result of num1 modulo num2. If user selects 6, which in our case is modulo, go ahead and print num1 modulo num2. That is the remainder of dividing the two numbers in the variable. And then finally, there are 2 ways we can handle this number 7. For this number 7, we can go ahead and finally make use of else. Let's say else. You can still say else, and go ahead and print the result of exponent, like for example, print the result of num1 exponent num2. But we are not going to do that. This is a wrong practice. So if we do this, what we are practically trying to tell Python is If it's 1, do addition. If it's 2, do subtraction. If it's 3, do multiplication. If it's 4, do division. If it's 5, do floor division. If it's 6, do modulo. But then, if it's anything else that is not 1 to 6, go ahead and do explanation, which is not what you want to do. So what you are going to do, you still go ahead and say else if choice is 7. What do we do? Go ahead and print this explanation. So what are we now going to add in our else statement if what are we going to add in our else statement if user enters something else, that is like 8, 9, or even goes ahead and type 6? Do we go ahead and crash the code? No. If user enters anything that is not within numbers 1 to 7, display for them this message: invalid choice. Now, if this is simply telling Python, in situation where user selects the wrong input, which is not between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just tell the person invalid choice, that they entered the wrong. So let's make this a bit more. Should I say? Let's make this output look a bit more beautiful. So how do we do that? In this print, we just say result, open and close quotation, results. Sorry. Results. So if choice is 1, just go ahead and print results is equals to addition, the results of the number. Just this result we are adding is not compulsory, but we are just trying to make our outputs look a bit more beautiful. So let's go ahead and do this for all the equations. Sorry, for all the operators. So let's go ahead now and run this code. So you have a grasp of what we've been doing since. I think let me just add one more line of code. We just type end of program. Just after printing out the results, go ahead and print end of program. So let's do this. Let me share my screen for my terminal. Oh, thank you, Miracle. I just saw the correction. Let me go ahead and change it to that exponent that I corrected it to. Where is the exponent? Exponent. Thank you, Miracle. So let me go ahead and share my terminal. So when we go ahead and run this code now, Python array.py, it prints out the name of the calculator. In my case, I named mine simple class calculator. Then it's asking me to impute the first number, which if I put this number and click enter, it will convert this number to a float and save it to the variable. Let me pick 7 and click enter. enter second number. Let me say um 2, enter. So this is that print statement we use, that three quoted text and print statements is displaying the options for us. In our case, um addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, floor division, modulo, and exponent. And then it's telling us to pick a number between 1 and 7, between numbers 1 and 7. So let's go ahead and choose floor division, which is 5 in this case. So the result of this particular equation, which is 7 floor division 2, is 3.0. That is, it removed the decimal places. Normally, 7 divided by 2 is 3 point something. 3 point, it has decimal. Let's do it again, but this time use normal division to see the full output of this particular equation. Enter. Let's say 7. We are still using 7 and 2. Then this time around, we are choosing number 4. So look at what happened. The difference between these two equations is that floor division will just print out 3.0, that which is just the whole number. And then the normal division, we say 3.5, which is telling you that the result of 2 divided by 7 divided by 2 is 3, remainder 1. So is there any questions on arithmetic operation? Any questions on arithmetic operation? Ruth, were you able to figure out how to create a new file, or you are still having issues? Please, if you are following this class, comment in the chat. Let me know those. If you are following this class, comment. Okay. Is Ruth the only one in this class? Okay, good. Good. So that is that for arithmetic operation in Python. Let me go ahead and share my. So this time around, we are now handling the inputs and output in Python. I should zoom in my screen. Okay. Okay. Okay, no problem. It is the what Mesoma, should I zoom in my command line, sorry, my IDE or my terminal? Which of them are you having issues seeing?
I can't see your screen properly, like it's hard for me to see.
Okay, okay. Let me zoom it in.
So I can't see your screen.
Don't worry, I want to zoom it in. Opening the IDE to zoom in the screen. Let me choose this one. I'm having issues zooming in my IDE. I don't know why. This is not working. So if you want to copy my code, okay, let me try. It's not actually working. What will happen if you want to copy my code? I'm pasting it right now on the chat. I will pin it in the chat now. So you can copy it directly to and paste it on your IDE. Can everyone see the message I just pinned? Miracle, you are raising your hand. Do you have a question? Miracle, okay. Miracle, okay. Do you have a question? Okay. So should we go over to the next? Just normal copy and paste. You are making use of phone, right, Abby? You are making use of phone, right? Root. Yes, just copy, hold to copy, I think. Let me try it. Miracle, ask your question. Miracle, ask your question, or you bring down your hand.
I have a
I mean,
question.
okay, go ahead and ask.
Okay, first of all, this first that simple class calculator, you wrote print
Yes,
on the before that what's it called, quotation equals to equals to equals to. What's the meaning of
yes.
that equals to into I think is up to 6 that you wrote, and is it necessary that you write that up to 6? And
No, it's
then
not. Okay.
uh
Go ahead,
okay.
ask your question.
Okay, then in that print, you also wrote 3 quotation before before writing that choose an operator, addition, and all that. Before closing it with another 3 quotations. Is it the same
Yes.
thing as 1 quotation? So that is another. And again, I'm having issue if I want to run it in my CMD, which is command prompt. But if I run it in this PyCharm, it is running in PyCharm, but it's not running in my command prompt. So I don't know where the error might have come from.
Which error does it display on your command line interface?
There is no such file or directory.
But no such file or directory. You installed Python on your system, right? Python is installed on your system. That's why you are seeing no such file on directory. But then, why you are seeing that particular error is because you do not change into the folder. You did not change your this thing. Okay, can you share your screen? Let me tell you what to do on your CMD.
I don't think I'm using a laptop to do that. I'm using phone or less. I don't know.
Share which of them are you having the you're having this on the laptop, right? The
Yes,
laptop
yes,
computer. Are you, yeah, did you join this class with your phone or laptop?
I'm joining with my phone, but I'm doing the practice with my laptop.
Okay. You know the location of your phone and your laptop, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. For example, in my case, let me share my command line interface. So let me zoom it in. I don't know, I can't zoom in my ID, but I could zoom in. Let me answer this particular question before I answer the rest. For your command line interface, change directory into the folder where your class file is. For example, my own is in my on my desktop. On my desktop, I created this class folder, which is class.source. And how do you change into this directory? You do cd. Okay, let me leave this place now. cd. If you are in a particular directory and you notice that that's not the directory you want to be in, all you have to do is just use the same cd, then type um two dots after it, that is two full stops after the cd, and then click enter. So on my base folder, I will say cd, which stands for change directory, desktop, hit enter, and then it will navigate into this my desktop. It will navigate into my desktop folder. Then on my desktop, I say I do another change directory, class underscore source, which is where my file is. Click enter. So as you can see, I'm now in my class folder. So if I go ahead and run this code here, you will see the same result. So then let me explain the first your other questions. Do you understand now, Miracle?
It's Nelson, sorry.
Eh?
Sorry, my name is Nelson. But yes, that is what I've been doing. That is what I've been doing. I mean, that's I use that chain directly to get to that folder, and
Yes.
in that folder, I try to write a Python space, then the name of the folder.py before I
Mm.
got that error message.
It's not the name of the folder, it should be the name of the file. Like if the name of your file is
The fa-
class dot
yes, yes, that is what I did. Sorry.
and you're still getting the same error.
Yes, yes.
I wish I could see what you are doing. At least it would have been easier for me to explain it. Can you run the okay? I wanted to tell you to screenshot it and send it to my WhatsApp right now. But don't. Miracle, you can do that, right? If you can do that, let me see. Ah, I'm getting a notification that Ruth left the class and she have a question. Okay. Nelson, while at that, I'm going ahead to answer your other questions. So for your first question, you're asking me if these equal signs here are necessary. They are not necessary. Like this is what I'm naming my calculator. I'm just adding this equal sign to make the name look like a bit stylish. For example, I can just go ahead and remove this equal sign, just clear everything here, and go ahead and name my calculator mega mind. When we run this code now, the name it will display at the top of the first line it will display before it asks you to impute first number will be Megamind. Okay. So when we ran the first equation, when we did Python arith.py, this is the name of the calculator it displayed. Equals sign, simple calculator equals sign. But this time around, when we run this particular code, when we go ahead and run our code, the name of the calculator changes to Megamind. So it's not necessary. You can name your file anything you want within that quotation. So just put open a quotation, name your calculator anything you choose. You can even use your name and then close the quotation. Then over to your next question about why I'm using the float. The 3 comments. So is there another person that is having that doesn't understand why I use the 3 floats? That is the 3 quotation I used here. Is there another person that does not understand that? Indicate in the chat, please. Let me know. Indicate in the chat. Okay. So I want to do something. It's just a simple. So I want to remove these 2. This thing. So as you can see, if we use this normal open quotation here now, it will display all this everything within this print statement as an error. But these 3 quotation helps Python to enter multiple lines within a print statement or within a quote. That is, we are just entering this line was made possible with the use of these 3 quotation marks here. So with that being said, Nelson is no longer in the class. I wish he was here, but with that being said, let's proceed to input output statement. That is input and output. So we've been making use of output, which is just the result we've been getting since we are making use of print. That is just the output. But this time around, let's go ahead and discuss input more. So output is just basically the information we display to users. Nelson, you left the class.
Sorry, I'm very sorry. It's my network. I'm very, very sorry, but I'm good.
Okay. You were not in class when I explained why I used 3 quotation. Let me just explain it once more. So Your question about whether these three quotations here is necessary. It's very necessary. Why is necessary is if we remove these three quotations, let's say we go ahead and make use of normal print statement, that is one open quote and close quote. It cannot handle multiple lines of quoted text. It cannot encode multiple lines of code. So to make that possible, we are making use of these three quotations. That is where these three quotations comes in. You want to put multiple lines in quotes, you make use of three quotations. Do you understand?
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you.
Good. Uh, so let's proceed to input and output.
Sorry.
Okay.
This from this pie chart, can I create another, what is it called? Can I create another file from this
Yes.
pie chart? Maybe from and as in this folder now, can I redirect it to another folder from this pie chart? That's what I'm trying to say. I know I can create it, but can I redirect it to another folder from this pie
Okay.
chart?
The terminal.
Yes.
Okay. So let's do that. So if you are making use of PyCharm terminal and you want to go enter another folder, I think you can still make use of change directory. Now I did cd dot dot, that is I'm telling Python leave this current class directory. Let me say I have another directory on my dashboard. So yes, on my desktop named class. All I have to do is cd what will I name that? Okay, let's say I have a folder named class. I have to change directory to that class folder, which I do. I'm now in class. If I go ahead and run Python arith.py. As you all know, arith.py is in my class.source, in my class source folder, but not in my class folder. So this code will tell it when I run it to say can't open file, no such file or directory exists. That is just telling me that this particular file, there is no file with this name or any folder with this name in the in this folder, in this class folder. So let me change back to my current directory, which is class source, cd class underscore source. So while I'm here, I can go ahead and run arith.py without any issue or failing. Do you understand? This is now asking us to enter a first number after printing the name of our calculator. Nelson, do you understand?
Yes, yes.
Any confusion?
I think I still have I'm still confused though. See, what I'm trying to say, apart from this folder now that you are using now, if you want to create another file and want to save it in another folder, you want to save another file in another folder, how will you go about it?
Okay. Okay, I will get back to that question. Roots, it seems
Okay, no
Roots have a
problem, no
question.
problem.
Unless Roots have been raising her hand. So, Roots, ask your question. Still, how do you copy and paste? I think I explained that you have to hold down the message in the chat. It should display. Is there anybody that can help Ruth out? Tell her how to copy the. You can type it word for word though, or you can go ahead. I think if you hold down on the message, it should display a copy this thing, option for you. So lesson, I believe what you are trying to ask me is if you are already working on this a particular project and you want to create a new project in PyCharm, how will you do that, right?
Yes, I'm
Let's
creating it in another folder that is not in this
yes,
same
yes,
folder now.
yes, I understand that. If you are already you can there are two methods of doing that. One, let me explain. Let me share my entire screen. So you can come to your desktop background here or anywhere. Let me say you want to create it within a folder. You can open the folder and right click. If you right click, select new and then folder. But that one aside, maybe you want to create it on your desktop. You say desktop, you come to your desktop, right click on your desktop, select new folder, name the folder. Let's say output. I think output. Yes. Let's say output. We are naming this folder output. Enter. So to open this output now in PyCharm, all you have to do is within this output, right click on it, show more options. Look for this open folder as a PyCharm project. If you click on that, it will open the new folder I just created as in PyCharm. But the second method is creating a new project within PyCharm. I'm already working on this particular project. So create a new project now. At the top of my screen here, there is this just beside the folder icon, there is a button there named project with arrow. When I click on it, it will display this drop down project file, open files, and scratch and then scratches and consoles. If you click on this project, wait a minute. Sorry, that is wrong. To open a new project, click on this menu icon, this main menu, beside this PyCharm logo at the top, the second logo at the top left of your screen. When you click on this, it will bring out this drop down, new project from version control. Go ahead and click on new project. It will open up this screen for you, this window for you. On this window, you select the name of your PyCharm project, and then you can change the directory where you want the project to be saved. For example, I can change it from here, like let me say to my desktop backslash. You are not using forward slash this time. This time you are using backslash. But then instead of doing that, you can easily click on this icon, this browse icon here. If you click on that, then you select the folder. For example, I'm currently on my desktop folder. Then you name the folder. For example, what are we going to use? Panda. So, sorry. So sorry. We select this. We select our desktop. We select our desktop folder and click on select folder. Then to name our folder, we use backward slash. Then type in the name you want to give to your to your new project. In our case, Panda. I'm going to name this new project folder Panda. When you do that, you go ahead and click create. They will now ask you this question. Let me say new window. So now I've just created a new project. So wait for it to load up. It might take a while. Then you can go ahead and create your files. Class.py, and then any file you want to create within this folder. Next, now I hope you understand what I've been explaining.
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. Root. Root, you have a question? Root, I think some devices might have issue with holding down to copy. So I think the best option might be to do this thing, to select the best option might be to type it out one at a time. I think that would be the best option. That is if your device does not support to copy messages. So root, you have to do this. You have to type it out, or you can go ahead and try and concentrate. After the class, I will share this file. I will share this particular file in class. I will share the file. Don't worry, I will share this file in the group chat. You can just copy it straight into your IDE and run the code straight, and then try to study and understand the code. You don't have to worry about that. All the files we'll be creating in this class, I will be sharing them in the WhatsApp group. So back to our next topic, which is input and output. So output is just simply those stuffs we've been doing since. Print this, print that, print welcome, hello Python or hello world, and print the addition and subtraction of this number. That's basically what output is. Then coming to input in Python. Okay, output mostly makes use of print and logger. Logger is mostly maybe when you are working on a project. Then logger is kind of an advanced print that you use to log information, maybe in case something happens. Instead of failing, just print out these things for me, print out the error. That is log an error for me, because when you are working on a big project, maybe you built a site, you will not always be on the terminal to check when it's printing a particular error or something. So the best way to do that, so whenever you come, you just check the log messages, is to make use of logger. It will log it into a file. All those things it will print out for you. It will print them into a file. But for the sake of this class, we are just going to make use of prints. The print output. And then coming to input. Input basically waits for the user to type something. Obina, I can't see my screen.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I think I'm sharing. No. So I hope you can see it now.
Yes, Professor.
Okay. I was not sharing the screen earlier, the right screen earlier. So input basically waits for user to give it like something to do, like we did with this calculator we built in arithmetic, All we did was use a simple input and wait for user to input a number, which in our case we ask user to enter a number that we use for calculation. That is input. So that is basically input and output in Python. So to make use of this tool properly, that is where variables come in. But this time around, these variables now we are not naming them outrightly. What we are going to do is we are telling users to provide us the content of this variable. In our case, let's say name equals, instead of doing something like this, instead of just saying name equals to instead of saying name equals to Anderson, what we are going to do is name, tell user to input name. How do we do that? We say inputs enter your name. When user run this code, the first thing they will see is enter your name. Okay, in our next class, I think we're going to be making use of this input much more, because we'll be building a login form. That is, if you want to log into a platform, that particular page, they will tell you to enter your details. We are going to be making use of this input because we are going to build something like that. We are going to build it like so you see how it works. That's where this input comes in, because you not going to generate a name for user. You have to tell a user to input their name. That is to tell you their name. That is what computer is basically telling you to do here. Tell me your name. Then when user inputs their name, in this case, what will now go ahead and take an action with the name they just gave us. For example, let's say after they just gave us the name, we'll now do print hello name. When they enter their name, we'll go ahead and now print hello plus the name they gave us in this case. If they gave us, okay, let me run this code for you to see, to see what I'm talking about. So when we run our code, which is you will see enter your name. Let me say let me name this. Let me enter my name as Anderson, and then click enter. It will now go ahead and print out this hello Anderson. That is hello plus the name we gave them at input, hello Anderson. So let's still stretch this a bit further. Let's go ahead and stretch this a bit further. Let me share the right screen. So let's take this a step further. Let's say let's work with height and let's work with integer and float, because here we just worked with a string. But so you know, everything, if you just run your inputs like this, even if you go ahead and say enter your age here, and user enters their age like 21, in this particular statement, that 21 is a string, not an integer. So in a situation where we might need an integer, how we are going to do that is, let's say age, which is a number. Instead of saying enter your age, we go ahead and do something like this. integer, we call the integer this thing, the integer function in Python. Then go ahead and say impute your age. This is to say we are in this line 2, we are just basically telling Python if a user, like when user, after user enters their name, ask them their age. If they give any value they give you as age, convert it to an integer and store it in the age container, that is in the age variable. Instead of just storing a random the value as a string, convert it to an integer and save it. So that is to say, what if we are making use of a float? That is, we have to work with decimal places. We will now do, let's say for example, let's name this height. Height equals float. Enter your height. So user can enter 6.5, 6.5, any figure they want. When you tell them to enter their age, if they enter 6 or 6.5, it will go ahead and convert that figure they entered into a float and save it in the height variable. So when user, and so let's say user enters their name, you go ahead and say print sorry, let's use F, let's use, okay, let's use 3 quotations here. These 3 quotations, enter. So in this case, we say hello. No, this won't work as you want it to work. So let's just use a normal print statement. Print. Sorry, my caps lock is trying to misbehave. Hello, Mr. Slash. This is hello, Mr. Slash Mrs. Name. Then enter the next print statement, which is print age. So for those that submitted assignments, I noticed some people were okay. A common mistake you guys normally make in this variable is someone will use capital letter here. For example, somebody will do something like age, and then when you call age here, you see it's an error because these two age are not the same thing unless you are using them in a string, within a string. Like let me say within a quote, they are not the same thing. Python is very case sensitive, not just Python. Every programming language out there is very case sensitive. So you cannot name your variable this way and call them this way, unless you want to also change this to capital letter A. But that aside, make sure the name when you are calling your variable, it's corresponding with the name you gave to your variable. So let's complete our print statement. Print and you so when we run this code, Python will ask, will request the person's name from them, their age, their height, and then after they must have provided this information to go ahead and print out this request, this output we are asking Python to print for us, which is print hello Mr. / Mrs. name, that is any name here. Congratulations, you just turned, that is the age the user imputed here. And then, and you are already tall. You are already 6 feet tall. Okay, let me just add FT here. You are already 6 feet tall. So let me remove this here and use plus. So using this plus now, already so when we run this now, we say name, let's say for example, Chioma, age 12, height 6, okay, let's say 3.5, and then enter. It will now go ahead and print the hello Mr. / Mrs. Chioma, congratulations, you just turned 12 and you are already 3.5 feet tall or inches. It will print out any any output you are requesting from your input statement. So any questions so far? You mean replete? Obinna, do you mean replete?
Yes, yes.
Okay. If you are using replete, it's basically the same thing. Just type out remember how to run your code in shell. Sorry, I lost my network went bad. Yeah. So Obinna, you know how to create a shell in Python, right? Sorry, in Replit, right? How to create a new shell.
Yes, yes.
Yes, then just the same thing, just that you are writing on different keys. So any question? Any questions so far?
Sir, my question is in that shell now, after you
Yes.
have written your this your code now, the output side, and
Yes.
you type the normal way we used to um type, like if you want to get your print statement. So we
Yes.
need to give you that one after the other option, like have the age, the name, and the height.
Yes, exactly. To give you the options one at a time.
Okay,
You now go ahead and type them. It's just the same process.
okay.
Yes. Any other question? So that is to say everybody in the class understood the. Am I right? So, like I said earlier, in our next class, we are going to be creating a simple login form. So, let me share my screen. So, in our next class, we are going to be recreating this login form, and then using the input and output statement we learned today, we will learn how to convert that input into forms like this and to save them directly to Python. Do you guys understand? So that's why I need everybody that attended this class to make sure they understand everything. Ruth, you are saying we can create things using Python. No, Python is not for pictures. Python is for creating websites like the apps on your phone. What else should I even use? The websites you use every day, even that replit you are using is a website. Like for example, this is just a simple web page that we'll be creating in our next class. Programming, every programming language is for building something. Some are good with some languages are good with game production. Some are good with for back end engineering like Python. So that is it. But when I say back end engineering, I mean creating like the part of this of a website that you don't see every day, the main engine of a website. So that is it. But in our next class, we'll be creating this. So, but I'm still confused though. Well, let's leave that for now. Any question? Is there anybody that don't understand the code we just finished now? So if you know you understood what we discussed in this class, please indicate in the chat. Let me be sure.
Please, for the first one you did, just share the picture for us on WhatsApp.
Can you hear me? Obina, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Let's do a recap of the. So in let me comment all these stuff out. So we defined arithmetic operations as making use of arithmetic operators to perform mathematics in Python. That is mathematical equations like simple addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and the rest. So we also went ahead to explain how most of them work. For example, we use print like this: 6 plus, sorry, not 2 plus, 6 plus 4. So we use print statements like this to explain how it works. For example, if we run this code, it will give you the equations, like it will give you the result of this particular equation, 6 plus 4. Then if you go ahead and do another print statement and write another print statement like print 6 minus 4, this is for subtraction, and print. In Python, we explain that we make use of asterisk for multiplication. Like if you want to multiply figures, you make use of this asterisk. Then we proceeded to divisions, which is print in brackets 7 divided by 2. This division in Python will make use of this forward slash. This forward slash is telling Python that go ahead and divide this equation. And then when we run this particular 7 divided by 2, it will go ahead and print out a float result for us. For example, our result in this case should be something like 3.3335 or 33335. It will go ahead and print out the result with the decimal place. And then we have another kind of division which we call floor division, which one we do print //2. This particular division now, what it's going to do is going to go ahead and print for you the whole number of this particular 3 point, sorry, not 6 by 2, sorry, instead 7 by 2. Instead of printing this particular equation, though the equations are both divisions, but instead of this second print, instead of floor division printing out 3.33335, it will go ahead and print just 3. That will be the answer of this particular equation, to go ahead and print 3. Then we went ahead to explain modulo, where we said if you do print, print 7 modulo 2, it will do the same division, but now this time around, after doing the division, instead of printing out 3 or 3.333, it will go ahead and print out the remainder. Like after the division, after dividing 6 by 7, it's remainder 1. It will now go ahead and print for you that remainder. It will abandon this 3, which is the 3 that was the answer to the equation, and just print out the remainder for you, which is 1. Then went ahead to explain exponents. So print in bracket, let's say 3 2 exponent. Exponent is still asterisk, double asterisk. This is just like saying 2 raised to the power of 4, which is, this equation is just like, is not just like, it is 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied Obina, you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's go ahead and run this code. Let's go ahead and run this simple print statement. Let me open up my terminal. So when we go ahead and run this code, which in our case are reach.py, it will go ahead and print out those results for us. The first one being 6, I think that should be 6 plus 4, 10. The second one, 6 minus 4, 2. 6 multiplied by 4, 24. I think that's it. And then this 3.5 is the result of our 7 divided by 2, which is 3.5. It's printing out the float, it's printing out the float value for us. That is 3.4 with the decimal place. Then this is the floor division, which will remove this decimal place and just print for you the whole number of that particular equation. And this one is the modulo calculation. That is, it will divide the equation, and if there is a remainder, it prints out that remainder for you, which is basically what we told it to do. And then this is 2 exponent 4, 2 raised to the power of 4. This is it. So that is what we discussed in our first class, which is arithmetic operations. Any question? Any question?
No question. Just that the normal way of the normal mathematical method,
Yes.
you cannot apply it here.
Example.
Like the exponent, like you have to do it this hash into 2 to get what you are doing.
Hash into
2 now.
2 how? I don't get you.
The last
Okay,
this thing you did.
like 2 raised to the power of 4.
Yes.
Yes, you have to do that is exponent hash 2 hash 4. If you are trying to do 2 raised to the power of 3, you do 2 hash 3. Do you understand?
Okay.
So were you in class when we worked on this calculator?
No, I came late.
Obinna,
No, sir, I came late.
I noticed. Okay. So let me explain the calculator for you. Let me go ahead and comment out this print statement and uncomment these ones. So we are making use of input statement to build a simple calculator. In the first case, we do print and then open a quotation and name our calculator, which in my case, it was earlier I named it equals. You can go ahead and name it any name of your choice. Simple Python. So it's not a must you name it the same thing I named mine, and you can choose any name of your choice. Then we will now tell Python, after printing out the name of our calculator, ask the user to enter the first number. That is, we are telling the user here this one variable. We are telling the user enter the first number. When the user enters that number, we convert that particular number to a float. We convert that particular number to a float and then save it into the num1 variable. That is into the num1 box. We put it in there. After we save it there, we now proceed. When we select a number and click enter, it will save it and proceed to tell the user again, enter second number, that is give us another number. We've saved the first one, give us another one. Then user says something like 2. Then you print out, then sorry, you go ahead and save the content of you convert the number they imputed into a float as well. Because any this thing you put here in this particular, if you remove this float conversion here, if you go ahead and remove this float conversion here, this is no longer a number. Even if the user imputes 30 here, Python can no longer, imputes, let me see, imputes. Python can no longer work with this as a number. Instead, it recognizes this as a string, no longer an integer or a float or even a number. So it recognizes this particular input statement as the same way it recognizes A or B or C. So if you go ahead and run this code, once it reaches this place where you run your calculation, it will fail. So to stop that from happening, we convert the input, the user input, into a float and then save it to the variable. After the user gives us the content of this their second number and clicks enter, then we are going to print out sort of an option for them where we say choose an operator. We listed out all the operators, numbering them 1 to 7. So we are using 3 quotations here because these 3 quotations is the type of print statement that enables us to add multiple lines of code within a quote. If we are using one line of quote, for example, if we do something like this, as you can see, I've not even removed all the quotation. It's already read. You see, this cannot work. This is a wrong print statement. So you go ahead and put these 3 quotations to properly display this option. Then after printing these options, you tell a user to enter your choice from 1 to 7. We are not telling the user to enter any choice, like any number of their choice from numbers 1 to 7. So, and then they click enter. If the user input is 1, for example, if the user choose 1, what are we going to do is addition. Add the 2 variables together, that is num1 and num2. Go ahead and add them together. If user chooses 2, subtract the equation, that is subtract num1 from num2. And if user chooses 3, for example, their input is 3, you multiply the numbers there, that is the first variable multiplied by the second variable, number variable. So if the choice is 4, you go ahead and divide. If it's 5, you go ahead and do floor division. If it's 6, go ahead and do modulo. Then if it's 7, go ahead and do exponents. But then if user enters something that is not in this particular list, that is not between 1 and 7, tell them invalid choice. But once you print out any results here, go ahead and print end program. Let's run this code and see what it looks like.
So excuse me, I didn't understand though.
Which part of the code do you not understand?
Go back.
Okay. So
The part I didn't understand is this choice now. Like after inputting, after your print statement here,
this one.
after your print statement now, the one down below.
Okay, after my print
Like that,
statement.
no, it's not this one. This other one.
This one.
The choice now.
Okay, this one now. This one now. This choice. Right? Can you hear me, Obinna? Obinna. Is Obinna the only one not hearing me?
You can hear you, can hear you.
Okay. I think he left the class entirely. Obinna.
Mm.
Obinna.
I can't. Okay.
Okay. You said where you don't understand is from this choice, right?
No, the down part.
That is if all these places now.
Yes.
Okay. This is we are making use of if else statement. If else, that is a conditional statement in Python. But we've not gotten to that topic yet. But for the sake of this calculator, we had to make use of it. If else is just a kind of conditional statement, telling there are other kind of conditional statements. But this particular conditional statement, we are telling Python, if this does not happen, do this. If this does not happen, do that. That is, we are trying to say, if choice is one, we are just saying if choice is one. That is, if choice, if the content of this choice variable, the content of this choice is one. That is, if user inputs one here, print result num1 plus num2, which is how we are, which is what we printed out for them here. We are telling them that one equals addition, which is we are now telling Python that this is where we explain it to Python. What we explain to humans here, we are explaining it to Python in this instance. If user's choice is one, do addition. Then else, if the choice is two, do subtraction. Else, if the choice is three, do multiplication. That is num1 multiplied by num2. Else, if the choice is four, go ahead and do division, which is this.
Excuse me. The else, no need to type it in full now.
You see the only place you type the else in full. This we are with this else if we are telling Python we are not done with our condition. There can still be other options. I don't know if you
Oh,
understand me. There
yes.
can, once you type else, you are telling Python that you are out that the whole options, the whole viable options are finished. Any other thing apart from what I've given you between the if and the last else if, print invalid choice. So as we don't have eight here, if a user you ask user for their choice of operator and they choose eight, Python will just display for them invalid choice because it does not understand the command. Do you understand?
Yes.
That is what once you use else is like closing the if statement. If you remove all these things now, let's say you remove everything in between if and else, you say if choice equals to one, just go ahead and print just go ahead and calculate the two variables. But then you now say else, print invalid choice. You are just basically telling Python that every other thing, even if the user entered 2 or 3, or just print invalid choice because it does not understand this human explanation. This, like I said earlier, print can be this print now we are using it to give user should I say options to choose from. But Python does not understand that option. Python is choosing their own option, its own option from this if else statement. So that is basically what we did here. And then after we are now telling user after any equation you do here, once you are done with that, go ahead and print end of program. Are you still confused?
No, no, sir.
Okay, let's run the code. If we run the code, you might understand it more better or a bit better. So let's see. When we now go ahead and run array.py, it will print the name of the calculator. That is simple calc Python. Then it's telling us enter a first number. In our case, let's enter 7 and click enter. Enter a second number, 3, enter. It will now tell us choose an operator. 1 addition, 2 subtraction, 3 multiplication, which is what we listed using those 3 quotations. 4 division, 5 floor division, 6 modulo, and 7 exponents. And then we have to choose a number between these. So Python will know what to do with these two numbers we just gave to it. Which in our case, um let's say 4, which is regular division. We are now saying do a normal division with this. It will go ahead and print the value, that is the result of that particular equation, and then print end program. That is just that. Then let's say we choose floor division, and let's go ahead and choose modulo, which is to print for us the remainder of this particular equation. You say you run your code again, enter your first number 7, enter your second number 3, then you go ahead and select 6. Then it's printed for us the remainder of this particular equation. After division, the remainder of this particular equation is 1, and then goes ahead to print end of program. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Good. Any other question before we end the class?
No, just that. Please, can you help us to drop the work on the group chat so I can practice back?
Okay, I will share the file in the group chat, but it might not be this night though. But I will definitely share it in the group chat. Then, in our next class, like I said earlier, we are going to be building a simple login form. So this is what we'll be building in our next class. We'll be designing something like this using Python, HTML, and simple CSS. So hope everyone is following up to this stage.
Yes, oh yes, yes.
Good. So that is it for today. You guys can go ahead and leave the class. Good night.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night. You're welcome. You're welcome, Messi. Yes, there is recording. The full class was recorded, so it will be shared on my listen. Okay, good night, Ruth. Favor, don't worry. There is a recording of the class, so it will be posted on the dashboard. You're welcome. Good night. Please, you can leave the class.
actually live close to my faculty, my house, or then you pay for my faculty.